remember an example, but I have a feeling.
All right, or just been unwell.
I mean, he was largely. He didn't talk during the Greatest Showman call.
No.
We just had a go at it for like 2 hours, and then he got to the end and went, "Well, I still like it. Goodbye."
I remember what I'm thinking of now. I'm thinking of there was a time where John wasn't going to come on, so he asked me to announce his pick for him, and then we ended up just delaying it for like weeks and weeks and weeks until he left.
Okay.
Oh, glad that the film wasn't picked. Is he supposed to be joining us tonight?
Is he stated that?
Hmm?
Is he supposed to be joining us?
John.
Yeah, he's apparently joining us live and direct from bed.
Oh yeah, I know about that, but I don't know if he's changed his mind and decided to close his eyes.
You know what he's like for changing his mind and closing his eyes. That's his two favourite pastimes.
I enjoy it. It's the only way we can really have a chance of getting him. I will be horizontal. I
This
can't
is
be asked to
brilliant.
sit up for it.
My antivirus has just come up with a pop-up, right? And it's obviously trying to make me buy a subscription. And it says your location is exposed, and then it shows a map, but the map is of Preston. I'm not in Preston. Seems like my location is not exposed.
Been exposed, Rob.
I'm close to Preston than any of us.
I love you just called off just like wrong again.
Hello, is that a vast? I'd like to report that I'm not in Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, Ben? Why did you pick the film? Oh, wait. Oh,
Well, I picked the film because it's good.
it's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
You don't want to start a fire?
Your mail order nephew is very loud.
So you can hear through my. That's why I fucking asked in the first place.
Oh, I couldn't hear you the first time it happened, and then the second time happened, and I could.
Jesus fucking Christ! Give me a second.
Lord, give me a second.
Give me a second.
Oh dear. Poor.
Whoa.
Can't you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I can also hear everyone else. Where is everybody?
Oh, apparently John's earbuds need to update.
Ow, chestnut.
That's a. That's a new one. I'm sorry, my earphones updating took it out of me too much, and now I can't. It was too stressful. Is Emmanuel conscious? That's the question.
Emmanuel's going to be late.
Is Emmanuel
is he?
conscious?
He said he'll be late, so I assume he's conscious, but
Is he
late.
conscious?
Yes.
Conscious
he's-
about being late.
Funny guy. So yeah, I bought a new microphone.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We can pick up Simon's nephew from miles away. Sorry. This is now awkward. Cool.
So, is this week's sponsor instant noodles or like just?
It's always
Captain
Stella Artois. It shows up every week. Unlike John.
Oh, shit.
What are you doing, Humphrey?
He's a wizard.
What was it?
I mean, that's not really an excuse, to be honest. I mean, oh wait, no, sorry, that's always an excuse
Wow.
of being a wizard.
That was the opposite of what you said.
I realize, yeah, being a wizard is probably an excuse of why certain films are good or not.
That's not an excuse, except for when it is an excuse, which is all the time.
Actually, no, that's actually. I forgot the phrase there.
I'm so confused.
It's the reason why I fucking hate. You when we did this in school, we did the fucking Tempest, right? Yeah, I fucking hated the Tempest because essentially the story was, oh, a wizard could sort it out, and it was like, well, okay, fuck it, that's the story, and I always fucking hated it. I always fucking hated, like, I didn't mind doing English in school, right? Just fucking hated the Tempest. Absolute bullshit.
To be honest, my
I was going to say, Harry Potter.
Wait, is
Your
Pat breaking up, right?
internet's quite shit.
I'm on a hotel in to be.
I got a hotel to be.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
Simon, I was going to say my lasting memory of you in English is the time that we were at the back of the room and you decided to snort polo mints, and then Dennis thought it was cocaine.
Oh wow! Wow, you unlocked a fucking memory for me. Man. Wow! I can't. Oh,
I just remember you doing it, and I think it was either Miss Powell or Miss Marsden was like, "We're gonna send this to a lab, and we're gonna find out what you've been doing." And then Dennis was trying to stick up for you, but he thought it was actually cocaine, and he was like, "Miss, I can't grass on my mate." And I was like, "It's a fucking polo mint, you idiot."
Holy
So
shit!
funny, man.
Wow, I forgot about that completely. Oh my god.
Hello. At such a tender age, you had someone willing to go down for you. He wasn't. Snitches get stitches, man.
Uh,
Oh man, that was brilliant.
yeah.
You had someone in your life who thought you did cocaine in class and wouldn't tell on you. That's better than gold days.
I wonder what he's up to nowadays.
I know he's not snitching. He's got a code of honour, that guy.
Nice. Classy.
That's the sound of an updated earbud.
It's a new feature. What can I say?
Just randomly screams.
Oh,
Well,
we're
it
scared
actually
now.
was me farting into the toilet bowl, but there you go.
Oh, are you in the toilet now?
No,
Oh, did you travel there especially?
no, I threw it into the toilet and then it went burp.
Your
No,
toilet humor has killed Matt. I mean, Pat. Sorry.
What?
Did I say
I
Matt?
wish.
I meant Pat.
I wish anything I did would kill Nat because I fucking hate the little shit.
Oh dear,
Uh,
dear, oh dear.
We've got a 5 people policy.
Yeah, I connected my earbuds and it was like, "Hey, want to update?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on then," thinking it would be like 2 seconds. It downloaded it and went, "Okay, we're just going to disconnect your earbuds. This will take 10 minutes."
Oh mate,
And I was like,
turned
"Cool,
out
thanks."
you were still the 5th one here.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. That's the thing. When it said like Rob, the host needs to let you in, I was like, "Hang on, have they not even started?"
It seems rude to wait to do it without Ben.
No, not in that sense. As in, like, I thought the call itself hadn't started like at all.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know why the waiting room's on, to be honest. I thought I turned it off, but
Yeah, I thought it only did it if you
Right.
haven't like activated the call yet.
Rob, I need to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Who did the caricatures of each and every one?
Oh, I did.
Oh, sweet. Oh wait, do I have to send
Simon was definitely going to shit on them, and now he's like, "Oh, I can't do it now."
Yeah, if you'd have put that on me, you'd gone, they're rubbish.
No. I was gonna say, where do I have to put my application in for one?
I'll do you one, man.
Yes.
I bet you will.
Once
Yeah.
I've moved out, I'll sort you out.
Oh yeah, how is your moving out?
Oh, I hate it, man. I never want to do it again. It's pretty
I've got
much
some
done
bad news
now.
for you, Rob.
I've got to take some stuff to storage tomorrow, and then after that, it's done. But yeah, I've hated this week.
So, Rob, this is why I always live in a way where I don't have a lot of stuff to actually transport. Once we move this time, like we're hoping like October-ish now, then I will start thinking about like actually getting things to like put on shelves and whatever, because I just can't be bothered with that shit.
Oh
That's
man,
the thing with John's stuff. You can fit it all into the back of my car, but it is all covered in cat hair.
Yeah.
It was awful yesterday, right? So we had a couple of guys come to take the sofa bed and a bookcase, like just to like dispose of it. And they were supposed to come between 10 and 12, and they got here at like 7:30 in the morning.
Oh,
And
Jesus
it was
Christ.
just-
I mean,
Like,
efficient. It's
And they-
efficient working, I guess.
they were like they
No,
were in the
it's not.
hallway, like
they came the wrong time.
they were
That's true.
smashing this. They were smashing the legs off of my sofa, and I was like, guys, it's really early. Stop it! Like, just use a screwdriver.
Well,
Ben,
to be
how
fair,
was Lawrence
legally,
of
I think
Arabia?
they're within. What'd you say, Alec?
Oh no, I was just going to ask Ben about Lawrence of Arabia, but you're mid something.
Sorry.
That's
Because
all right,
I'm
it was
on my
more
phone, I
important.
can't actually see other people joining. No, it wasn't really that important. I was literally just going to say, I think legally they're fine, but I get I get not wanting to make that much noise at that time.
Oh, it's so bad. I mean, luckily my neighbours are pretty cool, but like, yeah, it could have caused problems.
Yeah, I'd have been like, wait, guys, come on. Like, you got here 3 hours early. You can take your time with a fucking screwdriver.
Yeah, oh, it's awful. Hey Ben.
Speaking of 3 hours early, which you are not,
Still here before Manuel.
that's not
Yeah,
hard.
but
Yeah.
Emmanuel said I'm going to be late when he was already almost half an hour late. That doesn't count.
I like how this was always, let's start at 10, and then it's just gradually become, oh yeah, it starts at 10:30. And it's like, no, it still starts at... But
This is why I think we should just say, this is why whenever I would make plans with these fuckers, I would always tell them to meet an hour earlier than I actually wanted them to. And then it would always work out that we met an hour later.
Ridiculous.
So from now on, the call's at 9 o'clock.
Oh, I would still be at work sometimes then.
But Simon, I actually trust you to turn up on time.
Well, I mean, worst comes to worst, I'll be on the underground and I'll interrupt everyone again.
That's the
By
thing,
going, please mind the gap.
You still turn up when you're on the underground. Ben's just in his house.
He ain't even left.
He's in his living room. Leave him alone.
He's at 10 o'clock and he's like, meh.
They've got their own private cinema he sits in, and he has to relish in the experience.
They'll
No
fucking
phone.
wait for me. They wait for me every fucking week. It's fine. Yeah, I'm
So I want to
talking
make
about
sure, by the way,
you.
you guys can't hear anything, any other noise from me, can you?
Yes.
I think I can.
There's some kind of anime.
Oh, it's not anime, but that's fine. I'll just turn it off.
Yeah, I just heard, oh my god!
Was he
That was
alive?
it.
He just saw this giant thumb coming towards him. Oh my
no.
god!
Yeah, sorry, guys. I didn't think they'd be able to hear you, so you have to go off for now.
Okay, well, I was going to ask Ben to start, but now he's fucked off somewhere else. Probably to start another film.
Ben had changed his name to Bernadette. I was like, what?
Bernadette.
Yeah, I've got to check if this works. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
And we can hear the tiny souls that you crushed with your thumb.
Well, you know, it's got to be that way sometimes.
How's my connection now?
Yeah.
You kind of went a little bit machiney near the end of that. It might be better if you don't have your camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to see your face. Oh,
Man,
That's
I
rude.
just saw Rob eat a hamburger and I thought he stole it from Dan's screen. I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I was like, what? Oh, yeah.
I couldn't give it back.
There you go, Dan.
Wait, it'll be that. No, that corner. There you go.
You missed it earlier, John. Rob picked up the Coke and he did it from that angle, and then Pat picked up the Coke from that angle, and they both just like drank simultaneously.
Oh, God. This is where we find out this entire time everyone other than me and Alec have been in the same room.
Wow.
Every time me and Alec go off on one together, they're just looking at each other like, no, these fucking guys.
Oh, I'm just imagining Rob as some kind of like really demented Willy Wonka, and he's like, "Here's the river of burgers," and you're like, hold on a minute.
The grease.
No, that reminds me actually. Rob, I got really annoyed with Valve the other day.
Why?
Because a trailer came on during the Nintendo Direct for Portal. Like, it was clearly going to be Portal, and I was like, holy shit, they're just releasing the Portal fucking collection on Switch. I don't care, make a new game.
Valve are the worst for this shit, man. I can't believe it's still going on, to be honest.
Well, they don't. It's like what Nick was saying when I was talking to her about it. Like, they don't need to make games because they make so much money and games are a risk. But fucking count to 3, bastards.
Yeah.
Swear this was a call based on films.
Yeah,
Not rivers of burgers.
Well,
we were talking about burgers and being in the same room, and then I was like, oh, it'd be funny if there was Portals. And then I was like, oh yeah, Portal, fucking dickheads.
Oh, wait, John, do you play Persona?
Of course.
Okay. Should I get into Persona?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I would say it will probably stop you from playing any of the other ones, but I would say to start from 5 because it's the most streamlined game, and unlike most of the old ones where you have to do very specific things to get the like actual ending, like it's all time based because it goes on a calendar. And pretty much every other game, if you don't follow a guide, you will not get a good ending. 5 doesn't have that.
Okay. I'll just get the collection then.
Yeah. The only problem is with 5 is that it's too good. So going back to old games will be quite hard.
Oh, that's so annoying. Okay, no, I'll start with the shittier ones, then I'll work my way up to 5 and go, wow, I should have listened to John earlier. But we'll see.
Yeah, just don't. From what I've heard, because I haven't played it myself, but the Persona 4 one coming out on Switch, definitely worth getting, and I'll be getting that. But the Persona 3 one is the port of the portable edition, which is the literal worst version of it, and you'd be better off just getting it on PC or something. Like, you want the FES edition.
Oh, okay. Then I might play Persona 4 first then.
Yeah. If you play Persona 4, you could go back to 3, but if you play 5, it'll be hard to go back.
Pat's face just got so big on my screen. It freaked me out for a second. I
was going to get an assignment.
Oh, fuck. That made me jump as well.
I was like, I'm going to jump through my screen.
Hello.
All right, so should we start?
Yeah, I mean, it's 20-11, but let's do it. Fuck it.
All right. Ben, why did
sorry,
you
I
choose
thought
this
y'all
film?
started already. Sorry.
No, it's not at you, Ben. Fucking Ben.
Right, shut up. Go on, Ben.
Fucking Ben.
Hey, yeah, I chose Parasite just because it was a film when I first saw it had such a good word of mouth going into it. It was I can't remember what year it came out, 2019 or something.
But 2019.
Yeah, it had rave reviews, and it's like one of those films like, okay, you can't really live up to the hype and all that. But I made sure to see it in the cinema just because it was a director I really knew well and liked quite a bit. and everything about it was something that was intriguing me. It had no one was really quite. It's one of those films that no one would explain the plot until they were like, you just need to see the film, and that is the perfect way to just go in cold without any knowledge of any kind with it. And so, but the film to me just did not disappoint in terms of like it had so much nuance in the story. What's wrong?
Sorry,
someone obviously farted, and like, come on, man, it's being serious. I need you fucking do this. Come on now, Jesus Christ. We're sorry, Ben. We're not doing it on purpose. We're just being arseholes.
That was so cheap.
Who did that?
It was me. Sorry.
That was the cheekiest little fart I've ever heard.
I don't know why, but I fart more when I'm in bed.
Sorry, Ben. Carry on.
I'm so sorry, Ben.
Simon, you don't have to apologise for John's arsehole. It's
no, hang on. Everyone who laughed is at fault there. Anyway, Ben, carry on.
Yeah, well, the film Parasite. It's a film that I feel has a lot of depth and nuance to it. Every character has a point and a purpose. Every character goes through an arc, and every character is there's literally like every part in the story has their moment to shine, if you know what I mean. Everyone has their moment. The good and the bad and in between.
And the ugly.
And the ugly. And so I feel that it's unique in terms of like I can't really compare it to anything else, even though it has elements of other ideas and other themes that make it quite an impressive movie. And I think it's kind of like a passion project that you can see the director's passion. Or so in every scene, there's like so much detail and so much care is put into how it's been constructed. And I feel that most people that have seen it would agree with that. It's just whether or not you feel that the story goes the way you want it to go, and if it actually entertains you or if it actually makes you think, it really is something that will make you like appreciate the craft behind it. But I feel that as well as all those things, as well as it just has the uniqueness of like a film that will stand the test of time. I feel that this is a film that we're going to be talking about in another 30 to even 40, 50 years. And I think it has that power and social like commentary that will outlast the film, as well as making it quite timeless to a degree as well, I feel. So it's all those things. So it's a film that I think we can talk a lot about for multiple reasons. So yeah, that's why I chose it.
Oh, it's a shame you didn't turn up early enough to make sure we could, but that's fine. I'm just kidding. No, I'd agree with that. But before we start properly, I do have a funny story that some of you might appreciate, though. I knew literally nothing about this movie apart from the fact that it was called Parasite and that it was Asian and people loved it. I started watching it and I was like, I'm pretty sure this isn't anything to do with the Parasite manga. And then they started going on about stink bugs, and I was like, wait, am I like, is this going to happen? Like, is there going to be a thing? And then for a little bit through the movie, I was like, nah, that can't be right. And then eventually I just randomly remembered that I did know it had nothing to do with it. But for the first, like, I don't know, half hour or so, I was like, wait a second.
Oh, that's great. I thought you was going to say that.
Yeah, very different story.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, like way back, I was like, wait, the anime, the manga? Huh?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, is this it? Okay, no, it has nothing to do with it.
I'm just glad I remembered it has nothing to do with it. Otherwise, the whole way through the movie, I'd have been waiting for the quote unquote moment where things are going to change, and it would never happen.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh yeah, to just to chip in, just to explain, like John said early on, he was saying it's probably memory scores, Emmanuel scoring that early. And I know Ben and you guys probably heard me and Camilla talking about it very recently. So we watched it like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much why it's fresh.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah. Not coming.
So Emmanuel was actually the first person to rate it.
Yay!
Well done, Manuel.
And you enjoyed
All
it,
for
which is
foreign
good.
film round.
Yeah.
Hmm?
You
A lot.
enjoyed it for once, which is always a positive.
What you mean for what?
Shoes did not sink this whole thing for you.
Nah, it's great. Like, sorry, let me not put things out of order. Carry on.
That's okay. You can talk if you want to.
Yeah,
talk.
I mean, we haven't really got onto anything, so you might as well start off the conversation with whatever you were going to say.
Yes, do your intro. Yeah.
All right, cool. Like, yeah, I liked all of it, or really enjoyed all of it. Thought it was fantastic, especially some of the camera work, and just there was just small parts of the videography which I was like, nice. And there was okay. So let me just say two things so I don't talk too much. The end, it is sad, but I also thought it was really good. And there's actually, can I say my favorite scene now? Actually, no, it's not my favorite scene. It's my favorite shot.
You should talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go.
It's your statement. You say what you want.
Yeah. Like, man, we don't have to work on like a concrete structure if you've got stuff to say.
Cool, thanks. So my favorite shot is when they cross the line. Now, do you guys know the idea of the line when it comes to shooting shots in movies?
No.
Not really.
Okay, let me
Oh, blimey.
I don't know how I could do this properly, but let's say you're on a side of someone's face, and then the camera switches. It's always on the inside, let's say, of that person's face. It never goes to the outside of it. But there's and that's like a it's not an unspoken rule in cinematography, but it's just one of those rules everyone adheres to, not to pull people out of the immersion, because it just feels weird to just go suddenly like this on another person's side of the person's face. It's like, what are you doing? But there's a moment where the mom is talking to the I guess the new nanny, and they're following the kind of rules of cinematography, and then they just slowly at the back of her head change it, and then you look at, I was just like, that worked so well. Yet I don't know many people who would, or directors that would actually try it, because of how like it can pull you out. But he managed to pull it off and do it in just a way that it doesn't pull you out of the immersion, and if anything else, it sucks you more in. You're like, wait, what? And anyway, I thought that was a brilliant bit of brilliant shot, brilliant video work. Anyway,
That wasn't even something I picked up on. So interesting.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things I feel like, even though we like most of us, if not all of us, other than Manny, wouldn't have noticed, but you probably still got the feeling of it in the moment.
I guess it's one of those you didn't notice it, but your brain did.
Yeah, which I think is also like a thing worth praising, because when you consider stuff like that, there's plenty of things that people won't notice, but it's cool to be able to notice it, but it's more about the effect it has rather than noticing it happening.
yeah.
Right, who's next?
Well, I was going to suggest Rob do his intro because he's the one who gave it the lowest score. I'm quite interested.
And he was going to pick it as well.
Yeah, you say the lowest score. It's still very high.
Okay, sure, but like still, we'll go on that.
You mugged me off for that.
Yeah. No, I still think it's a great film. I think when I first saw it, it like completely blew me away. And if the first time I'd seen it was like when it had been picked by somebody, I reckon I could have easily given it like all tens or like close to all tens. Because I think the first time round I was kind of going like, man, this is amazing. Like, for fuck's sake, was that you again, John?
Sorry.
That was definitely forced out.
Yeah, that wasn't
It
like
really wasn't.
that wasn't like a Humphrey special that just happened out of his control. That was.
I wish I could say that was forced, but this is what happens in bed. I lied. Apparently, there is a difference.
I could hear you gritting your fucking teeth, mate.
Yeah, you still can't hear
You
what's
shut
typing, so I don't believe shit you say.
But yeah, no, if the first time I'd have seen it was if the first time I'd seen it was a film club pick, I reckon I could have given it all tens or close to it because I was just watching it like, man, like literally everything is hitting. But then I think watching it this time, I was kind of going like, I'm not sure if too much is hitting. And it's kind of a weird thing to explain because it's not like something that you can necessarily give like, well, you can give examples of it, but it's not something that you can really sort of
Vocalize?
no, it's just it's a feeling, so it's hard because obviously like you can't sort of feel something for someone else, but it's just
I get that.
There's so many points where I was just going like, I'm very aware that this has been written by somebody.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's almost as if like it almost feels to me as if it's been written by like a very, very good film student because it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just,
Like it ticks boxes.
well, not so much that. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Is this what we were saying the other day about this being like they're hyper competent up until the point where they aren't?
Well, I mean, I suppose that's part of it. I mean, like that's kind of, that's an example of where you kind of see sort of like, the writer wants something to happen in the plot, so the character acts in a way to facilitate it rather than it necessarily being like how that character would act. But more what I mean is just like it's very much like an example of a film that's been written to a standard that you want a film to be written to. And it's not subtle in that. It's very much sort of like, I don't know, like I just at every point I'm just getting like this very strong feeling that I'm watching a film, and I feel like the best films take you out of that a bit.
So
Oscar
yeah,
like I say, like I still think it's a great film, and I don't think there's like there isn't anything in it that I would call like necessarily bad. It's just this like really strong feeling that I get that like this is a film, and it just keeps reminding me that it's a film.
No, I get that. I think you can still enjoy something and like not have necessarily negative things to say about it, but also just be like, I'm very aware that this is a created piece of media for me to consume.
Right. Simon was first.
Mine was just a quick question. So, has everyone seen it more than once?
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw it twice as of this week.
No.
Okay.
I saw it in 4 parts. If that counts.
4?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
He's done the miniseries.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay, because like I've only watched it the one time.
What?
Yeah, I mean I did it in halves because unfortunately I had no time this week because of the COVID. So I watched like the first half, then I watched the second half of it. So it's just a question of like, would you say?
I watched the first half and then the first half again. I didn't finish the second.
I said, yeah, I watched the first half, then I watched the second half.
Yeah.
So I was just like, maybe if I rewatch it, I'll probably maybe give it a higher score, but I'm not sure because like I've only watched it the one time. So you guys have at least watched it twice, then.
No, I only watched it
3
once.
times for me.
Okay, fair.
But I will say that this is definitely a movie that benefits from watching it all in one go. Like there's some movies that it doesn't really matter that much with, but I think the flow of this movie does depend on you watching it all at once.
At low exposure.
Well, if it's not that long, maybe.
No.
In all seriousness, though, it's a film that's kind of it's hard to pause as well because there is so much happening in every scene. Every scene has like a momentum to it, and every character has to go from one. There's a consequence for every action they take, and so there was no like dull or lull moments in the film at all in that regard because there's always something they have to do next. It's like,
I will just interrupt just a second because the place that I actually stopped watching the film is there were this is like further discussion later to the point, I guess, but like it's when they went the camping trip and they were just having a drink at the house. I was like, oh, we're about an hour in. I could pause it here. Nothing's gonna happen soon.
What? What? Hang on. How can you see that scene and not go, something's definitely about to happen?
Because I'm sick with COVID. That's how.
Right, that's a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, when you're a bit delirious, you're like, I'm tired. Nothing's
COVID lowers your precognitive abilities.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Sorry.
Right, Emmanuel's had his hand up for fucking ages.
Yeah, go on, Emmanuel.
Let me try and remember what I was going to say. Three things. One, Pac, sorry, can you unpin your video, please?
I can't do it, I don't think.
Oh. Rob, can you do it?
No, it just gives me the option to pin it.
Oh, there we go. I just clicked on different ones to see if it'd work.
Mobile.
Two to go.
All at once. So it's either I see like 4 at a time or I just see Pat. So, anyway, what's that?
Did someone just open a can of Coke? What was it?
It could have been John again. Just a different breed of
John's trying to stop his farts coming out, and it just sounds like a gas leak.
It's just deflating.
He's blown them. He's overing on his arsehole.
He's done a black bolt and imploded.
Blackagar, Voltagon.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen that movie now. We've both seen the movie now. Anyway, not Inhumans.
No, not that.
I still want to try and watch it, even though I don't think I'll really like it. It's just I never actually bothered watching it in IMAX when it came out.
That's okay. Get 3 things.
I mean, I was working at Odeon at the time, so I could have saw it for free, but whatever. Anyway, this is not the point. To reply to what John was saying, sometimes, and this obviously is no surprise, but sometimes it helps for me to watch it in parts because, especially if I'm at home, sometimes I just start losing focus and drifting. And I'm just like, you know what? I just gotta stop. And if I take a break and watch it, whether it be in an hour or another day or the next week, it's like I'm able to focus again and just like enjoy it completely rather than feel like I'm pushing myself to finish this film, even though it's not long necessarily. But yeah, that's how I am with films anyway. Last thing I want to ask Rob, what do you think kind of why do you think you were so aware of all the things you said the second time compared to the first time?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's really difficult to explain because I don't think it's really a tangible thing. But I suppose one thing that I can sort of like point to is that so you know how like you've got the first half of the film and the second half of the film, and they're both like sort of they're almost like individual episodes kind of thing, right? So the twist from one to the other happens on exactly the middle page of the script, and it's like none of this is by accident. Like it's that, like, I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's a weird thing where I don't know, maybe the first time it's because it's all fresh, you kind of just sort of taking it in and just going like, holy shit, like this is all. But yeah, maybe that's it actually. Maybe the first time because it's fresh, you kind of going like, wow, this is very well crafted, and then the second time you're going like, this is very well crafted,
too orchestrated.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I still think it's a great film. Like I'm not saying that it's like bad in any way. Like I still think there's a lot of really good stuff in there, and I think, yeah, I still think it's a very, very, very good film. But I think what stops it from being like the film that I thought it was is just that feeling of just like, this is something that Bong Joon-ho has done for me. This isn't, because usually I can get lost in a film pretty easily, but yeah, I just couldn't this time.
Right, I think we've had 3 opening statements, including Ben's. So, who wants to go next?
Oh, my one is very simple.
Okay, good.
Parasite as the film felt very similar to when I watched The Shining.
Oh, really?
Mainly because, again, I paused it halfway through. I guess that's slightly my fault as well. But like, essentially, there was a lot of interesting build-up to everything, right? All the characters and all the character development for each character was all interesting. Then favorite scene happened. But then it got into like the weird twisty turnies and like blood coming out of the elevator and all the other little bits and bobs happening, all the action, let's say, happening at the second half of the movie. I was like, oh, cool. This is exactly like The Shining, but better. Anyways, who's next?
Humphrey, how about you?
Yeah, boy.
Sorry, I didn't realize I'd addressed Flavor Flav.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Rob because I think it's a great film, and because it's really why I didn't really give it 10s. It's because it feels very, yeah, like I'm gonna make a film. I've got the guidebook of how to make a really good film, so I've just followed the guide, and it's kind of, yeah, I couldn't really put any 10s in anything because, yeah, the acting was good, the production was good, but it just wasn't like, yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes you make films and you don't realize that you've made a really good film. Whereas this is kind of, as Rob said, it's made a film to be really good. It's a bit like, what's his name? Who's the bloke who makes the Oscar films? The ginger bloke.
Oh, Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of that kind of format.
Who's that ginger who makes the Oscar films?
But he does. He kind of makes these films, and they're very much the case of you're ticking all the boxes.
All right.
To
Beautiful
make the film.
Yes.
Nothing against this film. It's really, really intriguing and really I like the social commentary on like them being poor people, and then you got the rich people and the contrast, and then like the reasons why certain people do certain things because of that kind of juxtaposition. So it's really clever. Yeah.
Would you say it's not organic, or it's a bit too like
artificial?
Railroad. Yeah.
It's a bit artificial. Because it's quite convenient that they get away with doing all this shit, and then literally one thing happens and it all just kind of goes. Because I did like the twist of the man in the basement. I thought that was quite. I didn't see you wouldn't see it coming because you just think the female character is this kind of really nice nanny type figure, and then she's like, oh yeah, I kept my husband in the basement because he's been chased by loan sharks. And you're like, what the fuck?
Lucky you delivered that like, because I'm evil. And it's like, no.
But it's probably one of the like plot twists that you never see ever coming. Like you wouldn't, even if you had someone like John who sees all the plot twists coming. But no, it's just you wouldn't even notice because they don't allude to anything of that sort, and then they even like make it credible as well, which is quite good instead of just ham fisting it in there.
I think there
John,
was like
any pushback?
I was gonna say this. There were like a few hints that there was something odd about that lady. Like, I remember in the earlier scene where the guy was getting driven around and he's talking about her, like her making the ribs, and he's like, "Yeah, she was a great at making ribs." And like, there's nothing wrong with her. Well, except for like, she could really eat. She could eat enough for 2 people, and I guess that was kind of annoying. But I guess that's fine because of how well she took care of the house and everything. I like you see, because like it's because of you saying that I thought about that line. I was like, oh wait, there were hints about it before. I just didn't realize it until you talked about it right now.
That's generally one of my favorite things, just watching back and like finding all the little setups for it, and it's like, man, that's so fucking cool.
Because the thing is, as I said, if you haven't watched the film before and you don't know what's going to happen, that comment is just a natural comment that you'd say. Like people that eat a lot, you go, "Oh yeah, they can eat for 2 people." It's just like a common phrase, whereas in the context is she's actually cooking food to give to her husband who's in the basement. But yeah. Can I mention my favourite scene?
Can we do? Can everyone have a personal statement first?
Okay. Or can I do the first favourite scene?
Oh, for fuck's
when we get
sake.
there. When we get there, I want to express.
Go on then.
No. Let's do
no.
First.
No, you've interrupted now.
No.
Oh well.
No.
So, Alec, personal statement.
Thank you. Don't mind if I do. Who wants my favourite scene?
Oh fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought this was really nice because for every other film that I've mentioned, because I always mention this at work, but like, and it's always like, oh, it was film club this week, and I was like, usually because I've gone like, oh yeah, it's Old Boy, and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh okay, and then I go Police Story, and they're like, what? And I'm like, oh okay. This one I went, oh, Parasite. Everyone went, that's so fucking good. That's such a fucking good film, and I was like, oh, this is nice. Like people have actually like fucking watched this one. Like, and just the fact that it's like a foreign language film, people have this weird hang up with subtitles, and like it was really, really cool to like have, because like everyone at my work is a bunch of fucking normies. So like again, like just this other layer of like, wow, like normies like this as well. Like this is like really accessible for people. And it was like, man, this is really, really nice. So yeah, it's really popular, and like something I think like when you see like a popular thing, and I'm guilty of this as much as anyone, but like it kind of makes me suspicious. And I'm like, and like I'm not gonna say that I don't have a couple of issues with the mechanics of the story, because of course I do. But for all the stuff that I was getting and analyzing and all that, this film's fucking dense, and like there's so much going on, and yeah, obviously Rob and Pat and Ben have seen like the reams of angry girlfriend level sort of messages that yeah, I can talk about this film for fucking ages. I'm very, very impressed, and I just before we carry on, I did just want to make mention, when we're talking about sort of like the artificial stuff, some of it like is framed so well, and it's stuff that again you wouldn't notice on a first watch, but like there was a bit where I paused it and they're at a table, and it's when Mama Kim is talking to Mama Park, and they're sitting at the table, and it's this big long table and there's loads of chairs there, and I was like, I wonder why there is specifically that many chairs at that table. And then I went, so there's 4 here, so that's the Kim family, and there's 4 here, and that's the Park family, and there's 2 there, which is for the basement family. And I was like, How fucking cool is that? There's exactly 10 like chairs there for the 10 people in that house. That is such a cool fucking visual. Where like it's just we have so much shit we don't even fucking need. There's 4 people in this house. We've got 10 chairs, and it's like, oh, affluent. But then you actually go, why are there 10? And it's like, there's a reason why there's 10. That's so neat. I really fucking like that shit. But yeah, that's my. I'll end off on that one. I really like that shit. Emmanuel.
I was just gonna add. Until you said the normies bit, I didn't realize because Camilla was looking up. She was also telling me. I didn't realize how many awards this film got. Recognition it got.
Yeah, it got like 6 Oscars, didn't
it? Yeah, and
I don't know about the film.
Yeah, it got like obviously it got best international film, but it also got best picture, best director, best original screenplay as well. And it's the first, and I didn't realize it was the first non-English language film in the Academy Awards history to win best picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why also everyone complained about it though, because it's like you can't win best international film and best Hollywood film in the same film, right? And it's like, Jesus Christ, people, it's a good film. Give it a rest.
Yeah,
also
it win everything.
Gave Oscars to Suicide Squad. Fuck off.
I forgot about that.
Right. I think it's just Pat and John that still need to do a personal statement.
Okay, so I'll go then.
Oh, to add on to what I was saying just before you start. Sorry. The last film to just get a nomination that was international was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Really?
That long ago. Like, it does not happen. So this was
it's like 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was 2000. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, sorry, Pat. Go on.
So when this film came out, or I wasn't actually aware of the film until the Oscars, funnily enough. And like there was this whole list. Like I've got the list up here now, and like there's some like really strong sort of contenders in there. And I kept hearing people talk about this film Parasite, and I'm like, I've never heard of this. What's going on? And like I had it in my head that it was like between Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and 1917, and then Parasite came in and swooped all the awards up. And I remember saying to Ben, it's like, we need to find out if there's a screening for this somewhere, because like this film's just come out of nowhere and sort of all the critics seem to love it, and it's won all the Oscars, and I'm just curious. Watched the film, and yeah, you could definitely see where they're coming from with it. Like, I mean, I have the tendency to rate films that I like too high, maybe in some people's tastes. But like, this is one of those films that I don't think I can rate it any higher. Like, I did mention like there was. Huh?
So you just saying that you gave it all 10.
Well, yeah, I did. Oh fuck! Now I forgot what I was.
I'm sorry.
Give me a sec.
Sorry, you can't rate it any higher.
Yeah. So like I did mention like there was what I thought was maybe a couple of inconsistencies for the characters at the end, but we sort of had a bit of a chat about it that made more sense. But like in terms of the story, the acting, the production, it was I had to think about it to see if there was anything I'd have to shave off. I kept looking at different categories and I'm like, no, I can't take anything away from it. There's nothing I see in it that warrants it. And it's a film that I could probably watch it, and credits come up, and then it comes up on the Blu-ray, press play again, and I'd probably watch it again. So I think Ben did good with this one.
Nice.
It
You did-
indeed good.
Oh, and by the way, the budget was only $11 million.
Wow.
Blimey.
And made how much?
I think it made over 100 sales.
It made 263 million.
Nice.
53 of that.
That's-
53 of that was in America.
I don't know what the math is, but that's like 5 times its budget, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like 26 times its budget.
crazy. Oh, I'm really,
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
You're
five.
thinking of the American numbers.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
five.
yeah, it's ish. It's more than once.
26 times is often
But
interchangeable with
the
5 times.
director,
It's not Pearl Harbor.
director seems to like playing off on the rich-poor dynamic as well.
True.
Because it's like all 3 films of his that have been picked in Film Club, there's been a case of like the upper class and the lower class sort of situations,
It's
which I
four
think
films
is
now,
quite
isn't it?
interesting.
This is the fourth Bong Joon
Four?
Ho now. Yeah. We've had
What's the
Memories
other
of Murder, Mother, Snowpiercer, and this.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
also
I completely forgot about Mother.
Oh, Mother was great.
this is
Yeah.
also Song Kang Ho's 4th outing in Film Club, and
Wow.
he looks fucking odd in when you track how weird he looks in each one, like because he was in he was the brother in Quiet Family.
Mm.
The uncle was also Old Boy, so that's neat. He was in Memories of Murder. He's the main detective.
Yeah.
And then obviously recently he was Nam in Snowpiercer, and now this one. And you think about all 4 of those characters, and you're like, man, what a fucking guy!
Yeah.
Good old Daddy Kim. Right,
It was great.
John. We still need your personal state.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I have some issues here and there, which is why I can't give it a 10 for story. And like I definitely feel the artificialness as well. Most specifically, with the idea of, oh, this guy is amazing as long as he has a plan, and then just like smashing that nail directly on the head, going, oh no, shit's gone fucking wild. He doesn't have a plan. And then everything falls apart. Like that very much feels incredibly constructed. So it's hard to watch it without feeling like you're watching a movie. But as you can tell from my scores, I still absolutely loved it.
Yes, but John, the best plan is to have no plan. That's why you can't fail having a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only gets you, stabbing someone randomly and your daughter dying, and then you ending up having to live in a home for years. Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, at least he had beer and sausage, right?
Yeah.
I think that
Look all you need in life.
Parasite 2 is just somebody going, oh, you should be more spontaneous, man. And he's like, no, I shouldn't.
I've been down that road.
I think to add to that point is that I think what I like about the film is that the unpredictability of it.
Unpredictable, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. It's that element of it that I think that's so refreshing and interesting, because, like, obviously the basement family, like the guy living down there, is so out of the left field, but it's so logically well explained as well. I feel that it has a lot of it's not a twist for the sake of a twist, in my opinion, because obviously some films would do something like that just to be shocking or just to cause a reaction. And what has
Last Night in Soho.
That's something that doesn't have much thought behind it, but I feel this one does, because it's been it's like integral to the themes of the movie quite well. And I feel that like the Kims wouldn't be able to predict anything as bonkers or something like that. And I know that you guys mentioned that maybe they should have been more like, okay, maybe if it rains, they're not going to actually be able to go for this camping trip. That is a big point. And the more you think about that, is that maybe they shouldn't have been so like, oh, let's not do it on this night. Maybe we should let's just see how it goes, and then the next time they go out for more than a day, they will try again.
I kind of want to push back against like this sentiment that they just let it all go to pot when they've, because I think Rob put it first, like they're like really, really fucking good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
But then they don't know that they're going to come back when it's raining. And I think like from what I was seeing from like the opening, they're establishing like they're that poor that they see like an exterminator spraying poison around. And like the kid goes to go and close the window, and the dad's like, no, it's fine, it'll kill all the stink bugs. And they're just sitting there, just fucking coughing, like all this poison's coming.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, this is who we're dealing with. Like these guys are not like they'll sacrifice a lot just to get like a like a really little benefit, but then they get paid later for like the pizza boxes and stuff, and they immediately celebrate by getting a takeaway and beer. And it's like, if you saved that, if you didn't rest on your laurels that you just got paid, you can just use that for like a quick, because you're just going to be in the next situation tomorrow where you don't have any money again. You didn't actually need to buy the beer and you didn't need to buy the takeaway. You could have just kind of been economical with it, but you've now splashed out. You now don't have any money, and you're soon going to lose your Wi-Fi again. So if you were, if you like were smart about it, you wouldn't. But they get to a point where they've done work and they go, "I want reward for this," and then they will just.
We're all kind of guilty of that in a way. I think I can give it a pass.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy, the sponsor of our video every time. But like
our sponsors was instant noodles.
No, you just decided that. This guy's been around longer than instant noodles.
Yeah, but it's the theming of the whole goddamn movie. That's why it makes sponsors always really funny.
I think that's racist and small-minded. And
it's part of the film. That's what ramdon is. Have you tried making it? It's pretty good actually.
Oh, you mean that beef ramen?
Yeah,
it's a great sponsor line.
It's called chapanghetti. It's pretty good actually.
You called it something else.
No, it's okay, I'll explain it in a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So yeah, this whole thing of like, because I think that is the point that this film is making. They are when they're trying to get somewhere, when they need to manipulate someone to get what they want, they are hyper focused. They can fucking do it. They're actually really talented at it, and if they put their mind to it, they'd be fucking great. But it's like kind of this, because they're so used to poverty, it's kind of given them like a bad kind of mindset. So they immediately go, oh, we've done it. They're away for the night. They're fucking rich. They haven't got to worry about rain. They've probably got some fucking high-tech super tent that doesn't make rain a fucking issue. Like, no problem. They're not us, are they? Because like the class divide is so stark. So I do think that they doesn't even enter their heads that they even fucking worry about rain. They don't have to. They're rich. So they get to a point where they're like, we're in their fucking house. Let's go. Let's relax. Let's reward ourselves. And that is precisely what they do. And yeah, I really don't think it's like out of character for them. I think like they've worked really hard to get here, and that being in poverty kind of mindset has just made them go, yeah, and now I want a fucking reward, so I'm gonna get fucking drunk in their living room. It just doesn't enter their heads.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. Like, I mean, I think it's all sort of, it's in keeping with who they are and like what you're showing of them. But I just think that there's some points where they're shown as being like a bit too good at this. And I think I don't think that
is definitely the gochujang bit with the bin, I think, is definitely a bit where it gets a little bit thick. Like
yeah. Because that's the thing, like I don't think like them not thinking about them coming home is like an inherent problem. But I think when you're shown like that at some points they've almost got a psychic ability to manipulate these people, it's sort of there's something in the back of your mind going like, well, it's weird that they haven't got it anymore. You know, it's like Yeah, I think there are some points where they could rein it in a bit, and then if they had reined it in a bit, then that wouldn't have been an issue later on, regardless of whether it is once you've thought about it or not.
When you're saying about the psychic thing, I assume you're talking about when he's doing the tuberculosis bit.
Yeah. So that's one of them. Yeah,
because I think that bit is pretty easy to predict. Like that you could script that out. Like someone would probably go to people even get TB anymore. Like I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to kind of anticipate. And as long as like you got like kind of the base sort of story there, you will be able to field questions and that. So I don't think it's that out of the question. I wouldn't even say necessarily psychic to do that, but I know you have other examples.
Yeah, I think even that bit though, I think there would have been like maybe a little bit more value to it if maybe they'd have rehearsed the conversation and it just did something other than went exactly how they planned.
Yeah, I think more pushback would have definitely been it would have gone a long way to making it a bit more believable.
So I think this is one of the things where I'm going like this is a bit sort of too constructed. Is that whole bit where like the first time you see the source, I remember going like, oh, that looks like blood, and then later on he uses it as blood, and I was like, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you were like there in real. I mean, I don't know. Like it just seems a bit too kind of like this is what we want to happen, so it's going to happen.
Like, well, I mean, the story is explained that Miss Kim is a bit, let's say, daft, and so she's going. Well, I mean, no, that's literally.
I don't think it's a bad reason. Sorry.
That's how she's been explained as the character. She's like, oh, so she's such a nice lady. She's a bit daft. I mean, it's literally how it's explained.
There's a bit daft, and then there's
right.
I think you're being kind.
There's
blood on this.
She's dumb as well,
right? You know. So essentially, it's like, oh yeah, so she can. So I'm pretty sure if we're like convincing enough about it, we can probably just like manipulate our way through it, which is a thing that I realized lawyers do. For when he was doing the scripting of it, because I like watching like all those Law and Order movies, Law and Order TV shows and stuff. It's like lawyers can actually script out the most probable outcome and do it like a flow chart. So it's like, did you kill the person? The person's gonna say, no, obviously not. But he could also say, why would you think I did that? And they can actually plot out the whole thing. So I feel like that's why he got his dad to practice, is to memorize. It's like, wait, can people still get TV? And it's like, yeah, you never thought about it. And it's like he can actually plan that out because it's actual things that people actually do, especially people who are manipulating people through Photoshop and like just lying in general. So, you know, these sociopaths are very good at doing it.
Yeah, I think it just like maybe would have benefited from like, I don't know, maybe a little bit more sort of inner working of that. Like, because I mean, I'm exaggerating, but what it kind of amounted to is like when you see sort of like these comedies where, I don't know, somebody's impersonating a police officer, and then when somebody asks for their ID, they just sort of go like, "Yes, here." Like it's sort of, I don't know. Like there's a couple of bits like that actually. Like the bit where they're sort of tidying the house, I was like, this is straight out of a Nickelodeon show. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a few bits like that where I think it would have added a little bit more credibility if maybe you saw like a little bit more of a kind of struggle with it rather than it just being very easy up until a point where it's not.
I think John had a point.
What?
I've forgotten.
Oh. How the turns have tabled.
So, Humphrey, because you were so enthusiastic about it, what was your favourite scene?
My favourite scene, and I don't know if it was funny for you.
My favourite scene, what's that?
It was the bit where the toilet was flooding.
Oh.
And the shit was flying out of it, and I just thought it was hilarious. I don't know if it's because it's the juxtaposition between the it flooding and them being really miserable, and she sits on the toilet and there's shit fucking flying out the side of it. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
Can't imagine anything fucking worse.
then you shooting out the toilet, and you're just standing there like, my life's shit, isn't it?
This is up there with Pat laughing at that bit in The Exorcist. I'm just like, this is horrible, and you're like,
Yeah, I don't know if it's unintentionally funny because of the situation, where it's because it's such a grim situation. You just got this kind of shit just flying out of the toilet. Like, what the fuck?
I think this is your Tokyo Gore Police instincts talking. You're like,
Oh.
and everyone's like, oh, it's actually kind of awful.
But I don't know. It's just I think it's the not viscosity, velocity.
Viscosity.
Velocity.
I mean, you could be fine
the
in
shit
that particular
coming
sense,
out.
right?
That's a visually viscous shit.
It's stuck. It's stuck with them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. It just kind of caught me off guard. I was just thinking, fuck, this is such a shit situation. You live in a basement because you see it's gonna happen. Well, not the shit bit, but the whole flooding, because they're saying about the rain, and then they go back and you think, fuck, they're living in a basement. Like, oh shit, it's gonna flood, and they're getting all their possessions, and the girl just walks in and it's spraying the shit out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then it's the fact that she sits on it as well, and it's just spraying out the side. I was just like, yeah, I don't know.
well, she has to smoke.
You're poor.
Yeah. So
my favourite scene's actually linked to that, so I'll just go.
Oh, so it's got something in there, is it?
Well, you've done yours. It's like, it's like Pringles. You don't just have one, do you?
Okay. Once you pop now, keep going.
Right.
Simon, you need to start writing slogans.
Nice.
No, it's once you. I mean, it's once you pop, you can't stop. But keep going.
That's
You
two
can't stop.
zingers that you've had tonight. You've had once you pop, go on, keep going. And you've had, have you tried it? It's not bad.
Nice.
Right, Alec.
All right, fuck me. I've tried to start like 3 fucking times, and I've been interrupted 100% of the time. Right. Cool. My favorite scene is just literally following that. It's like when Mama Park is walking around with Daddy Kim, and Daddy Kim is like just doing he's just doing all the shopping and stuff, and she is just on the phone, and she's just talking about all her mates, and no, don't bring any gifts, and no, please don't bring any gifts, and oh yeah, no, just come over. We'll get day drunk. Yeah, no, it's all cool. Everything's fine. That rain was an absolute blessing, wasn't it? There's not a cloud in the sky. There's no pollution. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I can't wait to get fucking pissed. Yeah, don't bring any gifts. And Daddy Kim's face is just like, I cannot fucking stand you. I'm going to do something awful to your husband in a couple of scenes. I know it. I'm just going to do it. He's just going to say fucking something, and I'm just going to go for him. And then I'm going to live in his basement for fucking so many years. I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't fucking test me.
He didn't even need to say anything. He just did this.
Well, this was the bit where I sent the angry girlfriend fucking length text, because I was like, there's so much in here. This is so cool. It's not just the smell, like the thing. Like he is like aligned himself. It's like a quite small line, but when like he's talking to the guy in the basement, and he's like, why would you live in a basement? And he's like, what is the difference between this and a sub basement, like a sub flat, which is where they live? And he's just like, yeah. And like he's kind of like, but then he sees him like giving respect to Daddy Park and stuff, and like, yeah, he's kind of aligned himself with this basement dweller man, and like, yeah, they're kind of on very similar like kind of hierarchy there. This was a lot more eloquent than fucking text, I will tell you that. And then he's had that. He spent the night in the gymnasium. His sub basement flat has fucking flooded. His whole family have been like uprooted. And then he's had to come back and just listen to her fucking going on about all the stuff she's doing later, and wasn't that rain great? Oh, it's really cool. And she's just like, motherfucker. And then he's doing all this, and then his daughter gets stabbed, and the guy's going like, give me the keys, my kid's having a seizure. And he doesn't give a fuck about his daughter, doesn't know he's his daughter, doesn't know she's anything other than the help. But to that guy, Daddy Kim's daughter is just the help, and he couldn't give two fucks about her. He's not trying to get them both in the car. He's trying to get his in the car. And he's like, you motherfucker, like, how fucking asshole. And like the basement guy, he's the one doing, he thinks he's got artificial lights. The basement guy is the one who is activating the lights. He hears them coming in through the stairs, and he's doing the lights to the point that they think it's artificial. That's how well he does it. And then the guy comes out, and he shows him respect, and the guy just can only he just pushes him to get his keys, and he's like, "Cool, fucking hell," and it's like, yeah, I'd fucking stab him as well. If like I was that, like if I was Daddy Kim in that situation, yeah, I can fucking see that. Like, it's there's just such a fucking density to this, and I think it's such a well constructed moment, and like my favorite scenes all kind of part of all the stuff that feeds into that. But like it's not just that he's like, he goes like, you fucking cunt, he doesn't smell bad. He like, there's just a lot of stuff around it. But I've talked a lot, so I'll stop now.
Oh, right. Sorry, I my mind's somewhere else about. I can't remember all what you were saying because I was busy trying not to cry.
Trying not to cry. Right. You alright?
Basically, my next pick. So after Alex's pick is it's not Asian.
Well done.
I can see why that's a big choice for you.
No, I was just letting Rob know that I found something for international round, that foreign round that's not Asian.
Oh, see.
Or from a
Told you, Rob. I told
nation
you.
before.
It's gonna be Welsh.
What did you say? What did you say, Dan?
I said to Rob before that on foreign pick rounds, you'll pick a film that ain't foreign.
There's Asian films and there's normal.
I'm gonna pick an American one. What?
We'll get into next week, and Emmanuel will be like, my next pick is the Full Monty. They're all from up north, and I thought it counted.
Oh, that's a good one. You might as well. Sorry. I'm trying to think of my favorite scene as well.
Okay. Because everyone's taking their time, I'll do mine first then. So, as I was saying, I just split the movie up into two segments of like the characters building, everyone being those characters being sociopath moments, and the moment where, which I can only describe the scene as when it rains, it pours, essentially, right? And that scene where it's like begins a bit weird. It's like, hi, yeah, I just came in, you know, I just needed to do some stuff. I used to work here, you know, and it's like, yeah, I just need to do something in like the basement just to help me out a bit. I was like, okay. And afterwards, it starts raining a little bit harder, and like the store, and like you can actually hear. I feel like in the sound effects, you can actually hear the rain a bit harder. It's like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's like my husband's here. No one saw me come in. I cut like the CCTV. So it's just like, and it starts raining even harder. And afterwards, like, essentially then, when they all fall downstairs and she gets caught by the previous housekeeper lady, it starts thunderstorm. Then you can actually hear thunder and lightning. And afterwards, it's like, and it just like fucking proper pisses it down. Where she's got the camera and she's like all them like holding up their hands and all that stuff. So it's like, oh wow, really? When it rains, it fucking pours. It's like that situation that situation got monumentally worse every like 5 minutes. Like, but it continued to piss down even harder every 5 minutes. I was like, that's really amazing. I just never really thought about it. And it's just the thunderstorm, the lightning, and when Mr. Kim actually just runs into the lady and more lightning hits, and it's like that's, and you're like watching it through the glass, which is metaphor because we're watching it through the screen, right? And it's like, oh wow, that's so perfect. I can't explain how that few scenes are so perfect in that way, but it's just great because it's like everything I need to explain about the scene is just explained visually and audibly for you during that particular scene. And that's like, yeah, I can understand what Pat said beforehand. Like, you could watch the film again. As I was talking about Pat, he just disconnected.
He doesn't like to be mentioned, though.
Oh, okay. But like I feel like I could watch that particular scene like multiple times and like feel the same feelings, absolutely the same again, because of the visuals and the audio and all that stuff, because of how it was filmed and directed. It's really perfect, those few scenes.
That's a really good choice.
Yeah, there were lots of good scenes.
I feel like I'm watching Pat in an escape room.
Is Pat back?
So I'm sort of sorting myself out.
Pat is back.
Huh?
You right, Pat?
He's trapped in a maze.
Oh, he's pinned again. You've pinned yourself again.
I don't know how it works on my.
I think Rob's making his screen bigger, and that's what's doing it.
No, this Pat's pinned. I can't unpin him.
Oh,
you do it with that.
Anyway, well, Pat figures out the secrets of the universe. Oh, cute cat. Sorry, Kim's showing me cats. Anyway, or kittens, more specifically. I think there's two scenes. Random. I think there's two scenes that kind of just make me go, man, in different ways. It was kind of hard to pick favorite scenes because I think, to be honest, I think my favorite scene is not really the scene itself, but I just keep thinking about that shot I was talking about. Because I like the whole film. There's just like, there's very few moments that make me go like, oh, I love this. But then I liked all of it. It's a weird one. But anyway, two scenes that I think I liked. I think I'll say my second favorite, actually. I think second favorite and first favorite. Second favorite was the scene where I think just dialogue wise and also body language and everything that's going on in the scene. When the poor daughter, I tend to say poor rich because I can't remember any names, but the poor daughter's talking to the rich mom about her son. The first time they're like kind of interviewing in a way, is she says all like just the way she does things, and then the way the son will come back all well behaved. You're just like, what did she say to the kids? Like, I mean, you with kids, you gotta know to say certain things. For I mean, I'm not saying this is advice, but like for her to like, she's good. For her to know what to say or to do to get the kid to be like, and then to also get the mom just like wrapping her in. I'm just like, this is really smart. This is really cool. But I think one moment that made me go, wait a minute, I never actually thought about that this whole time, is when the guy in the basement starts going to the switches as he goes up the stairs. I was just like, wait, they weren't automatic this whole time.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
just doing
and it's I think that's the moment when the full kind of weight of how long this guy's lived down here and how this guy is basically like, I don't know, he's in that crazy zone, not crazy zone, but he's in that kind of like past it zone where he's been driven crazy by his loneliness, but also he's focused on certain tasks so he can still look after himself just about. It's just like, man, man.
Well, that whole thing is kind of why I I find the thing that I was saying about the poverty mindset. The reason they're in that house is because they don't get complacent, and like he does act as efficient. He acts so efficiently that they keep thinking that it's an artificial light, but it is just this guy doing it. It's like that. Like, I don't know. I thought that was like a really cool little element of it. Like,
Yeah,
because she keeps working. She doesn't start getting drunk in his living room, and
yeah,
he doesn't go, "Oh fuck it, I've got a basement." Like, he keeps pretending to be an artificial light.
yeah. It's this, and to add on to that, I know I'm just adding lots of categories. I think one of the saddest parts for me, just one of, like, there's lots of sad scenes, but I think one of them, after many sad scenes, because obviously I hate it, like the daughter dying and all sorts of stuff happening, but is when the son realizes, wait, he's sending me SOS, and he's spending, not SOS, he's sending me Morse code, and he spends all that time figuring out the message just to kind of realize that this is the last piece of my dad I'm ever going to get or have. Like, this is the last thing from him. And he's going to carry on doing that until he dies, because he doesn't know if his son gets it or if he ever will get it. And that will be his thing. He will keep doing the lights. He will keep doing that. He will have a habit. He will have a pattern until whether his body gives out or his mind gives out. And that's just,
Yeah.
That's a fate worse than death.
That was really powerful, like you mentioned there, but because it's like an inevitable, like, ongoing thing he's going to have to do constantly. There's no hope or guarantee that they're ever going to meet or reunite. It's just, I'm going to just have to keep doing it. And the son's just going to have to hopefully figure it out on his own. And I thought that was really beautiful about the ending, is that you think they're reunited, but then it cuts back to him in the home, just thinking about what to do next. And it's like, he's not even at that stage yet. And that's not even something that they've actually come together for. So it's got this bittersweet ending. It's like, it potentially could happen, but it still might not. So,
Unlike his dad, he doesn't necessarily have that poverty mindset, and he is going to have a plan. Even though his dad was like, don't have a plan and that it won't go wrong, he has a plan. He's going to go and get that house.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's still, he hasn't, he hasn't got it yet, but he has got more than his dad has. Like, that's how he's going to break the cycle.
What I would say is that I have no doubt that the son will, like, turn things around and actually have a decent life, give some kind of decent place with him and his mom, which would be a big deal in Korea anyway. You're going from the lowest caste to like a kind of decent working lower middle class. I think he will make it there. But obviously that's like a pipe dream he will never really achieve. But by the time he might be able to achieve it, his dad will have long died, because he's going to be an old man by the time he gets anywhere near that kind of money, even if he keeps working for it. And that's just what makes it even sadder, because it's just like, oh yeah, this is a dream. This is what he wants, and what he's going to use as his drive. But he knows that that's not ever really going to happen. Unless he gets lucky, and it's a miracle.
What you got, Pat?
The whole thing where his dad's doing Morse code and stuff. I can't remember. Does he know at any point that he gets his head bashed in?
He did. I think you see at a point, and you just see a glance of what's his face? What's the girl's name? Holding him in his arms and taking him away. He's all bloody and injured. But I don't think he knows the extent of his injuries. Just a fleeting glimpse.
I think he did see like blood coming out from his head, but that's about it, to be honest.
Yeah. So like he is doing that on an assumption that his son is still alive and mentally capable of deciphering it. Like he died from the attack. He could. I don't know how he's either survived and not had brain damage long term. So I mean that whole thing is running on an assumption. So I suppose he's probably doing the Morse code out of hope.
That's a good point.
He's stuck in that basement.
Yeah, that's like Alex said, that's a good point. Obviously, he did have like some brain damage, but it wasn't enough to impair his capabilities. It more affected, I think, his emotional center and how he kind of feels and receives some things. But
he laughs at the thought of his sister being in bed and stuff, and it's like, so there's a clear brain damage kind of thing. I hadn't actually considered that. Good going, Pat.
He turned into the Joker.
Oh man, you know why I laugh like this?
Hit head with a massive stone.
The Dwayne Johnson of rocks.
I also find it.
Yeah, the cameo.
Huh?
You want to know how I got these scars? It was a big fucking stone.
I find it interesting as well, because it's that border between, is he just that far in grief? Is it brain damage? It's probably a bit of both, because it was just so much loss at once. It's really hard to accept, but also he does actually have some kind of brain damage. We don't know to what extent, and just all of that at once, and the court case, and just everything. Like this, like, yeah. So you either laugh or cry, or you have no reaction because it's just too much.
Yeah. On that note, I'll briefly say my slight issue with the film. But I think everyone seems to have a different kind of like, well, not so much problem, but a kind of like nitpick with the film. For me, the only thing when I first saw it and second and third watch, it's still I'm kind of used to it now. But the second watch when I had it, I was like, this doesn't seem right with me. It's more the fact that the sister dies with a stab wound to her shoulder, right? Yeah. But the son doesn't die after 2 blows with the stone onto his head, which I would have thought would have been permanent death or permanent brain damage, but he does survive. And I know that is proven to be realistic, and not realistic, but proven to actually happen in reality. People do die of small stab wounds, and people do survive traumatic head trauma. But I felt that if those deaths were reversed in a way, it might have made a bit more logical sense that, the son would survive from a stab wound and be able to decipher the message, blah, blah, or the sister would would have died by being struck by the stone from the guy in the basement, kind of thing. I thought if those were swapped over, it would have like worked more like seamlessly for me, and in the more logical way my mind logically works, it would have been a bit like, okay, understand those two things are very like whatever, just a tiny small thing could change ever so slightly, like just slightly more to the left of our shoulder, or something about hitting in this right part of his skull might not kill him, but it's still kind of like, oh, it to me it would have looked definitive one way or the other. But I do feel that the film's deliberately trying to like swap what you'd think would happen, and it goes a completely different route. So I think it's trying to like switch things up a bit deliberately there. So it does work, and it still is really quite a powerful way of showing it. But that's my thoughts on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would have reversed the deaths based on his reaction as well, because I know the reaction was part based on
Sure.
What's the rich bastard's name?
Yeah, Mr. Park. I just got
Park.
Yeah. Like him talking about smells. Obviously was the main trigger, but obviously seeing his daughter getting stabbed and potentially seeing his son's head getting caved in sort of set him off. But I think if the son had died, I sort of sensed like a much sort of closer bond between him and his son than him and his daughter. So it would have made more sense if he died, set him off, and ended up stabbing. You know, it's just a little theory, but in generally, I don't really mind how it sort of played out.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really cool way of making like his whole thing with like the brain damage and that. I thought that came out really nice, especially when they're talking about like what each class is thinking about what brings wealth, because like the rock is given to the Kim family to bring wealth, but the Mama Park, she goes on about like a ghost being like something that brings wealth. And by the way, that fucking ghost scene, Jesus Christ, I don't know how he makes his eyes pop like that, but fuck me.
That was terrifying. I would say that's one of my favorite scenes, just because like the imagery behind it is like he's just sitting there eating cake, and there's that cut of him coming up the basement and his eyes just appear like that, and that's like, Jesus Christ, that is horrifying.
At 11 o'clock at night when they were like, oh yeah, and there's a ghost, and I was like, don't do this stuff for me, please stop this. But I was just like, fuck me, this guy's eyes are terrifying. But I thought that was so cool, like just this, like he is the ghost, and it's like, yeah, the the entity that brings wealth to the rich, using the entity that brings wealth to the poor and dropping it on the kid's head. I was just like, shit me, like what a cool metaphor. Like it's just like you won't ever, I don't know, it's just something like the poor will never like come to this level, and he's just dropping it on, and it's like, man, that's so fucking rich there. I really like that stuff. But
in terms of favorite scenes, I'm going to be doing it again, where my two favorite scenes in the film are the ones that made me laugh the most.
Yeah.
Oh no.
The brutal murders.
No. What's that? Nearly. The first one was like when they're in their little flat. There's always someone that's going around pissing on the rubbish or
him.
Yeah.
But then they both get a bit annoyed and go out and start fighting the person that's pissing in. And I just found myself like giggling quite a bit at it. Other one, which was
a great scene.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's a good scene, but are you laughing at like just the scene itself, or the fact that the daughter takes a video of it in slow mo, so you kind of see like the piss going around in slow motion, the bucket of water in slow motion, all that's pretty funny actually.
Yeah, and the dad misses him and just goes all over the sun.
Other one is when the former maid decides to run up the stairs. She gets super kicked in the face and ends up basically getting blunt force trauma when she hits the bottom of the stairs.
Another brutal moment.
A lot of people watch it be like, ooh, and I was just there kissing myself.
You fuck. Because she was probably running up the stairs going, madam. It's like, oh,
kick to the face all the way back down to the bottom.
You got Emmanuel? You got your mute.
You know your
Oh yeah, my hands up.
Manuel.
I forgot my hand was up. I was drifting off. I was gonna say the one of the main things, but it's not issues, the things I didn't like in this film, but I get where Camilla was coming from as well. It's the ending, because she's like, it makes sense. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. At the same time, I was just like, why would they do that? Or not, why would they do that? Why would the dad do that? He just ruined everything. Because if the dad didn't do that, like, there's so many things that it's, like how it should have ended.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like certain things that if it never happened, then a lot of the rest of the film wouldn't have happened. Like, when they had let the old maid in, now, they didn't have to let her in. And if she was still there when the people who own the house came back, they would have been like, F off. And that would have been it, or they would have called the police. And no one would have known the basement, and like a lot of other things would have happened. But that's not the point. At the end, when he switches, like at the last kind of straw, with even talking about the smell again, but even though it wasn't him, obviously, it was the guy in the basement, which is a very obvious thing. He's a guy anyway, it's like, it makes sense. And I think a lot of people react a very similar way. But he goes and stabs him, and I'm just like, this guy, this whole family are your benefactor. You're leeching off of them. And you've basically thrown everything away. You couldn't control your emotions in that moment. I was just like, was it that deep? Were you that? Was everything that much that it just spilled over and you couldn't hold it in anymore?
I think if your kid's got blood coming out of his head and your other kid's got like blood coming out of like just her torso, yeah, I can kind of see that.
And also, Emmanuel, he wasn't just thinking of it just then, because he was thinking about it for the whole time he was underneath that fucking table. Like when they were fucking and they're talking shit, essentially talking shit about him. And that was stewing in his brain. Like, like a parasite. sorry, I had to do one. But essentially he was thinking about it the whole goddamn time. They were fucking, and they were just like, he just went through all the stress with the fucking maid. Now he's got to sit there lie down underneath the table. Fuck, and all that shit. They have to crawl out of that, then has to go to his house, which is fucking flooded. So he's been thinking about it, all that shit, for the whole goddamn night, right? And it's like, it's been in his mind, and it's been building up, and it's been building up. Then afterwards, his wife did the stiff, and that's made it worse. Essentially, it got boiled to the point where he fucking just went, fuck this. Absolutely fuck this.
But to build on that as well, they think that he thinks they've made it. They're all in the house. They're all making good money. they don't like the rich family are none the wiser that they're all connected. So as far as they're concerned, they like he thinks they're fine. He thinks they've made it, and it's just a matter of time before they get to do like be the rich people. So to have like Daddy Park then go on about his smell, and it's something they can't wash off, and it's something that is just inherent to poor people, and he can't get rid of it no matter how hard he tries. That fucking hits him like dead hard. Like he he thinks he's up here, but he's always gonna be here. And it's like no matter what I do for you, no matter if I've served you so well that you think like the service is automatic, it couldn't have been done by a human, and you still react this way. And it's like all of your wealth, everything that's given you power in this society is built off poor people's backs, and you don't even fucking know that it is. You don't even know where your wealth fucking comes from.
Yeah.
There's a lot more. That moment of anger where he stabs him, that is so sick. There's so much significance behind that. Like,
yeah, I'll try and post it in the chat. But there's a video that talks about the social commentary in this film, because there's quite a lot of it. The video only really skims it really, but like you said, there's a lot of, and other people have said already in the call, not just the kind of class divide thing, but how a lot of their behaviors and how they leech off the rich, but then the rich are like taking advantage of them, and just lots of parallels to society and just how the world is and how Korea is as well.
Actually, there's one question I need to ask that I kind of thought of, but didn't really know how to put in words. The whole reason that the whole reason that the Kim son was the tutor for the Park girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how that all started, right?
Mhm.
But that's only because his friend introduced him to be the tutor for like a summer, right?
Yeah.
What would have happened when that guy came back anyway? Because he was gonna ask that girl to go out with him. With the original tutor was gonna ask that girl to go out with him when she finished like high school or something. So he knows the family. So even let's say the basement thing didn't happen, the guy would have came back and was like, "Oh, Mr. Kim, Mrs. Kim, young daughter Kim, what are you guys doing working here?"
Young daughter Kim.
You know what would have happened? It would have been some scene out of Nickelodeon again, where they just rushed the boy. Someone rushes the boy and just takes him somewhere. It's like, shut up.
I thought he was gone for like 2 years or something. So I feel like it. I thought that's what he said. I could definitely be wrong on that.
I thought it was like a summer job, right? Oh, sorry, going then.
No, I was going to say the bit that got like when I thought to myself, "Oh, this is where the film's going wrong," is when she was like, "Oh, so you're interested in her?" And he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh no, please no," because his friend like is interested, and I'm like, "Oh, here we go. Here's where the film starts going awry."
Yeah, and he kisses her, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Yep, that's
it. That's
that's just the start this ball rolling. All the shits that's gonna happen later." Yeah, I guess that's very true.
But yeah, it does. It definitely starts at that point where he's sitting next to her, and she's like, "Oh," you're like, "Oh God, shit! That's it. That's the start of the end."
To come back to what Simon was saying, I thought that was such an interesting concept, though. Just the idea that you like this is criticizing how the rich hire people, and it's all down to this reputation stuff and who you recommend and all that stuff. And it's like, I think Daddy Kim says something about, I wonder what happened to that chauffeur. Like, I wonder if he's, and they're like, yeah, no, he's fine. And I'm like, realistically though, he's not. That's got around. and he ain't getting hired by rich people again. He's very likely back in poverty if he wasn't like before. You guys are now filling his spot, but like, yeah, I just like the idea that just through a recommendation, this whole family gets hired, and they're all like, "Yeah, no, these guys are cool. I had a recommendation," and it's like, you don't know fucking any one of them. You have let all these people in your fucking house, just on the strength of that, and you don't know any one of them.
She's Jessica from Chicago. Yeah, no, she's got a reputation. Yeah,
Chicago.
The thing is, it kind of shows you their naivety.
Yeah.
The word I was trying to find in my brain. Yeah, it's kind of, it shows you that like when she's talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna have a party and we're gonna be like tramping it basically because they don't have to bring a present and they're gonna sit outside. You can even wear your sweatpants because we're tramping it, and it's just like, fuck off. You spent the whole film being a fucking pretentious bastard, and now you're just rubbing it in. But fuck you.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say it to Alec. Yeah, the chauffeur, he's probably either in the bottom rung job of either a taxi driver, which is the kind of lowest job you can get in Korea or Japan, or he's had to move to a different city to do a similar job so that he doesn't end up being a taxi driver.
Yeah. And all it's taken is Jessica fucking leaving her panties in the back of a car.
Yeah.
And his whole life's just done. Fuck you. Like, you're fucked.
I mean, things like that. It's a very, very messed up. But things like what Jessica did is how how a lot of bullying happens in Korea as well. As just another kind of commentary on it. Like a lot of people do stuff like that. They will think, yeah, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm putting you down so I can have a better life. But then they've ruined that person's life for the rest of their life.
They don't even say to them why they're being fired. They don't even give them a chance. They're just like, no, this looks bad. Yeah. Bye. And it's like, man, that fucking sucks. And then, they'll probably go off and they'll like start their own business, and then they'll like try and get revenge by making them fuck their own daughter, and they don't even realize it. And then you get to have this little purple book and everything, and then they go and they're like, oh my fucking god, and then that all happens, and it's like, man, Korea's a bit fucked up, man. But yeah, what are you saying, Pep?
Yeah, so going scene where Jessica leaves her underwear and in the car. So Mr. Park has an issue with how people smell, but yet he has his wife wear her panties.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It seems like a character as well.
Pat, that wasn't like, it's not like he doesn't have an issue. It's on purpose.
He's being grim. That's basically it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you can do this because this turns me on. It's just like, oh, that made me cringe so much when that whole scene just.
That's a very that's like a bit of a trend with like fetishes though. Like people often go for like the opposite of how they usually operate. So if someone's really, really I think Futurama did an episode of it actually. Like the lady's really, really tidy and she thinks Fry's really sexy because he's the biggest fucking slob imaginable. And...
Well, I mean, we have this conversation in the chat anyways because someone, I'm not gonna mention names, was talking about fucking scats. You sick bastards.
Oh yeah, John. That was John.
Anyway, I just wanted to add before I exit out this conversation. Obviously, the guy, the rich dad, probably had a thing for her. So, and that just added to the messed up side of him. So
I'll just say he had the sexiest voice. He was like, oh, you're so good at corners. And I was like, oh my god, I am. Oh my god.
I'm noticing. Off now. Alec, what's your film?
Oh, if we're all right, okay. Did you say you were off?
Yeah, because I'll get up at like 7:30.
Oh, sure. Enjoy your Seven Samurai. Sorry, I mean, yeah. My film for next week is The Devil's Backbone, which is one of Guillermo's very, very early ones. Please don't go into it thinking it's a horror. It was marketed as a horror. It's really not a horror. It's got a ghost in it, but
it's kids in hospitals.
It's really more of a drama than a horror.
Does it have a man that has blood coming out of his kneecaps after he's had them cut?
No. That was a fever dream you had, I think.
It turns into hovercraft, the blood.
Stop taking meth.
I guess the question is, like, would you
You're
have
free
said
to leave, Patrick.
would you guys have said Parasite is more of a thriller, a drama, or how would you have described someone in genres? What sort of film Parasite was?
I'd have called it a drama.
I called it a crime film at first, but I've settled on thriller.
You know what it's actually categorized as? It's actually categorized as a dark comedy. I'm like, I kind of see that.
What?
But yeah, I've seen like on Amazon, it said like a dark comedy, and I was like, I kind of see that, but I'll double check, right? But I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
But that's not the film. The film, to me, the film is a kind of drama thriller or thriller drama. Yeah, drama thriller. Because
I'll give you thriller, but I wouldn't say comedy.
Yeah,
I think.
Okay, I've got two websites. I've got IMDb that says thriller drama, but then like other places have said dark comedy. Then other places have said thriller drama again.
No, The Quiet Family is a dark comedy, not this.
Yeah, yeah, that's a completely different film.
I mean, Amazon is unreliable. They can't be asked to subtitle things properly.
The wiki has actually said a black comedy thriller film, and I was like,
there's a thriller, but I think there's elements in it that made it a black comedy as well.
Yeah, but it's not enough to be a main aspect of the film. That's the thing.
Just elements to it, like.
You could just say it's a dark drama.
Actually, that's an interesting question.
Diorama
here.
But, for everyone here, would you say, was there enough horror elements in Strange Multiverse of Madness to make it
Strange Doctor?
Strange Doctor.
Make it a horror movie? No.
I mean, like the horrible CGI. Yeah, sometimes.
Blammo.
But that's the point. Like, you have elements of it, and even if it's persistent, it's not enough to be this is a horror. It's just this film with elements of this in it.
I mean, like, it's a Marvel movie, right? There's like jump scares, I guess is considered horror, right? Yes, no, I mean, kind of.
Yeah. Element.
Emmanuel, did you laugh at this bit?
Oh no, please.
Oh no, it's not the eye.
I really fucking laughed when I saw that.
But it's okay because like are we allowed to talk about
spoilers? No, we're not allowed to talk about spoilers. People haven't seen it, but Emmanuel should know what this is signifying.
Wait.
Yeah.
Have you sent some?
No, it's pointing us.
Oh wait. Let me look at your screen. You're pointing.
No.
Oh.
That's fucking funny. I'm sorry.
I know did it because of the comics, but it wasn't done well.
Anyways, back to Parasite. Ending statements.
No. Let's keep talking about Parasite.
Okay.
Rob, what was your favorite scene?
Wait.
Is Rob there?
Rob
Because not-
Rob and or John.
I mean, well, Pat, you're about to leave, so like, let us
What's
sure,
gone?
like, is he gone?
He's gone.
Oh wait, he's gone. Damn it! I guess my thing. No.
Gone.
My screen just literally he just updated.
Oh my god, he is
Damn
gone.
it.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Anyway.
gum.
Are Rob
Anyway.
or John alive?
Emmanuel, what was your ending statement?
I think I. Okay.
Wait, are Rob or John still on?
I just
Not in this realm.
They're in another virtual reality. They're in another reality.
Yeah.
Another multiverse. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I thought it was a really, really good film. Also a great just social commentary as well. Like basically just like everyone said, very well constructed, very well done. And again, the cinematography, man, so good. All through, literally, the cinematography takes it to another level. From the moment with the guy that looks like a ghost, to the kid, to all the other kind of scenes, and just how they film everything, and the cut, everything, color grading, the lighting. There was not one moment I was just like, why did they do that? Or why did they choose that? Every moment I was just like, yes. Every choice served the film. And I feel like he's learned a lot in his time making films so far. And yeah, I think he's done very well.
Nice.
You can't see it, but I'm nodding profusely.
So, you got an ending statement?
I've got some mechanical kind of gripes. I guess we can't really get into them because we're ending. But
I mean, we end when we leave, essentially, or when Rob comes back and ends the call, I guess. But like, just go on for how long you need.
Yeah, if you could that.
I have small problems, small but significant problems. I have an issue with how they overpower the Basement family. Because when you see people reminiscing, I don't know that you know, like, how deep into their reminiscence they're in. So you can't really make a fucking judgment on when's a good time to fucking tackle them off a sofa. I pickled sour mustache mustard.
Sorry, random. I'm showing this to Simon. I really like this, though Bill not a fan.
Peter pickled pear of sour mustard pickled.
I feel like you're trying to
Pickle
undermine
sour
me today.
mustard. Okay.
Mustard greens, basically. I forgot the Chinese name, but
you're showing me this now because you want me to help you.
He wants me
make
to
it?
stop talking, basically.
no, I like the taste of it. Sorry, carry on.
Alex talking about contrivances. So here's some noodles. I want you to.
Not noodles. They're mustard pickled.
They're mustard pickled walnuts. Yeah.
Penises.
Sure.
A prickly pear.
Trouble with them knowing when is a good time to fucking tackle them off the sofa. I don't know that they're going like they're at the bit in the reminiscence when they're fucking dancing. Now's a good time. I think that's a tough sort of thing to judge. So I think it's a little bit contrived that they go, I'm going to tackle them off the sofa right now. That's not like that's just going to solve all our problems, and it does. So I have a problem with that. You've really fucking thrown me off with your fucking pickled moustaches. Motherfucker. Yeah, why they let him in? I guess they just let him in because like they want the doorbell to stop fucking ringing. I guess that's their whole rationale for it. They assume that it's gonna be like a small thing, but yeah, they don't necessarily that they don't know someone else is coming to the house when it's raining, but yeah, I think it's a little bit weak that they let them in, or they let the old housekeeper in. There was actually a little bit of social commentary that I did want to pick up on that I did like that I think should be mentioned actually. The bit with the camera, I think that's a really fucking good bit. They show when they're kind of talking about it on the news, they're like, oh yeah, he ran around the side of the building and he vanished, and you can see that there's a video camera of Daddy Park's neighbor, and it would have picked up where he went because it is pointed directly at Daddy Park's garage like door, so he would have seen Daddy Kim running under the garage door. And I was like, why did they show me that? Why did they really fucking focus on it? And it was like, yeah, there's not actually a community amongst the rich. That camera is purely for his neighbor's benefit. So he might have got a question about it, but it didn't affect him. So he wouldn't have fucking looked through the footage. So that footage is there. It does exist, and he should get caught for it. But because because the camera's only there for his benefit, he does not look back through the footage, and that's why no one realizes he's back in the house. And I was like, that is so fucking cool. I love that. Simon, you're looking confused.
Wasn't camera? Well, wasn't that camera cut by the previous housekeeper?
Yes.
And the one outside.
Yes. Came in. Remember when she was drunk and said, so yeah, I'm glad she won't know I'm here. Don't worry. I cut the camera, the cable, so no one will know. And
yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
They panned to it just to remind people that it's cut, like after all that new stuff, to remind people, yeah, this was definitely cut. She did cut it. She wasn't lying. So that's why there's no actual camera feed here.
Yeah,
why would the housekeeper cut it?
Because she didn't want, like, the madam or anyone else to know that she came back to get her husband, or to help her husband who was in the basement.
Yeah.
She was doing it for her own sake. And it happened just coincidentally to be in Mr. Kim's favor, because essentially those, as you said, the rich people had all those cameras around, but no one could see where he went. And essentially, like, yeah, he disappeared into thin air, and we have no idea where he went. But I mean, like, you could kind of tell he went into the basement, because we, as the audience, know he would have done that.
Yeah, because it's the only place.
Yeah, but everyone else is like, yeah, we have no idea. None of the other cameras seem to have picked him up, and that camera was cut, so we have no idea.
I'm nearly certain that they.
Because like you saw the cables and they're all frayed as all the stuff.
Yeah,
so it's definitely.
I'll watch that scene again because I'm pretty sure that camera's operational. But what you're saying.
But at what point?
Right at the end, like they focus on it, and I don't see the point of them focusing on a camera that's not working.
No, but you could see the wires were frayed; they were cut.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It's in the phrase Chekhov gun, right? Because she mentioned with the pliers, yeah, I cut the camera, and that pays off later when you see the camera have the wires being cut, because you see the wires have all been like frayed up and all that stuff. So that's like, yeah, so there's a reason for it, because it was mentioned, but it was like one of those off comments again that you didn't think about until you watch it again. You go, you see it later, and you go, oh, right, that's what that meant.
Okay, I'll look back. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that camera's working. but
It's
that's
not-
okay. I'll
No,
look back.
100%. I can confirm it was that shot was like frayed as fuck.
Well,
The
I might
camera
have-
was like
Yeah.
pointing at the basement, but there was 3 wires and 3 of them were kind of like all like jarred.
Because
Just
Well, I
fucked
might have
up.
to lower my score then, because I really like that as a social commentary.
yeah, 'cause the thing is,
But I think there was a bit of dialogue as well that someone says where obviously the original landlady, the maid says that, oh, I cut the wires, which that shot is definitive proof that she did.
Okay, I will look back.
because the whole thing about the camera being cut is so they don't actually know where he's gone.
No, I understand that, but I thought it was like the camera was working. It's just that the owner of the camera did not care to look back because it didn't affect him
No,
directly. So I thought
Okay.
there was a social commentary going on. I didn't realize it was focusing on it to go, yeah, someone cut it. It's like, oh, that's a lot less interesting to me. But
Well, I think that would be the bit of a plot hole if they just let the camera be like running at that point.
that was my social commentary there.
Which-
Because they
which-
have it
which-
running, they have that footage, they just don't care to look back. That's what I thought was really clever about it. But if it's not that, then that bit can get fucked. I hate it.
Yeah, but that makes no sense though, because it's like if you
Why wouldn't
want,
it make sense?
if you want to find out who this guy that killed Mr. Park, they'd want to look at all the fucking CCTV footage, wouldn't they?
But why?
Yeah.
But like, what if the guy was like, nah?
I mean, I
Yeah,
get
but
what you're trying to say, Alex, but like,
This is
police
a rich
officers-
family. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the police officers will be like, I don't care if you don't like your neighbors. We're going to look at your CCTV camera. That's kind of the point, right?
But if they said
Yeah.
it was like a dummy camera or something,
Yeah, but
then there wouldn't be
that's-
any point in looking at it because it's a dummy camera. There's
But I
there's
feel
no
like-
footage in it.
I feel like that would be an actual contrivance,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know if that is an actual contrivance. You have dummy cameras to like dissuade people, and you don't actually have any footage in it. You don't maintain it,
Yeah,
but you have a
Yeah,
camera
but-
there
but
because
they're
people will
rich
go, "Oh fuck, there's a
people. Why
camera
have-
there," so you don't
what-
do it.
Why have dummy cameras when you have so much money? You can just have real cameras. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter, right?
and we know that the camera works because we saw footage from it earlier on in the film at different angles from the house, and that was one of them.
This makes this a whole lot weaker to me then, because like if they have the footage, then why don't they know where he's gone?
But they don't have the
They
footage.
don't have footage because the camera doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so irritating.
Anyway,
This is really annoying. Fuck this.
okay. So,
At least it's not a wet photograph.
Hey, look, mate. Look. Fuck that fucking film. The photograph
Anyway.
was fucking wet. It shouldn't have been fucking wet, but they made it be fucking wet and then they ignored it. Fuck that film.
so
I'm talking about yours, Humphrey. It's crap.
in any case, closing statements. The whole film,
Eat
Yeah.
shit, Parasite, you crap ass.
the whole film can be easily symbolized through the sponsor of ramen noodles. The whole point of that chapanguri is that it's ramen noodles and udon noodles, or ramdon, as some people call it
That's what they
lovingly.
call it, yeah.
And essentially you just like mix that together and you make like a whole nother like noodle dish. But that whole point of that noodle dish is it's fucking cheap. It's like mixing spaghetti and like mac and cheese, right? And you just go, I'll just make mac and cheese. I don't know. I just like mix it all together and it's like, yeah, it's a cheap dish. But then they went fucking bougie with it by adding fucking like Wagyu steak on top of it. That's like making spaghetti mac cheese, then adding fucking like pieces of gold or truffles on it. And it's just like, oh wow, that's kind of that emphasizes the whole fucking like movie. In the point is that it's a cheap dish that they make bougie by adding unnecessary because they're so fucking rich. And it's just like, oh wow, that's the fucking social commentary because it's like of how everything is like done in that particular scene. So that's my closing statement for it, at least. And wait, Dan, you gonna sleep? Are you right?
He's almost done.
It's like rock mix.
No. Random, but I almost had Philly chili wagyu like steak burger. There's this restaurant called Casa and Ken, a great Filipino restaurant. But they sell wagyu. Anyway,
Is this your closing statement?
No, ain't my closing statement. Start my food.
So go on, Dan. What was your closing statement?
I don't know. It was a film.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I hate it when you
House.
do that.
No, it was definitely worth.
You always do this. You always go, it was a film.
It was a film.
I know it was a film. They've all been filmed so far. You don't need to say it.
Yeah, but you say you want a statement. I made a statement. No, it was semi-solid, like the poo that come out the toilet.
You shouldn't give a fucking 9 to something that's semi-solid.
Semi-solid. No, it was good. It was good. It was just I just don't think it was a 10. It just, I don't know. It just felt like it was too much of a, I'm going to make a film by the book to tick all the boxes for an Oscar.
I wouldn't say that was fair, but I get your point.
I don't know. It's just, yeah.
It's not a traditional biopic in that sense.
I wouldn't say that was fair either.
Yeah, it had some really good bits in it, like the major plot twist with the basement man, and like the whole social commentary, like the contrast between them being poor and then rich, and then them getting mixed in together. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's about it, really.
That's good, indeed.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna leave.
Make like a tree and get out of here.
No, it's not us.
That's not how it said.
Like a tree.
Make like a French person and run far, far away.
Parkour?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Goodbye.
Good night, man. See you next week.
Bye.
I'm looking for this fucking camera.
Rewatch. Did you see it 2 times? I can't remember if you saw it 2 times.
Oh, don't undermine me like this.
No, I just can't remember what you said.
I said, yeah, I saw this 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah, see, you undermined me.
What? I'm just sending the film now. Not film. The video I was talking about. Even though you don't need the preview, I still send pictures with it anyway, because it's just such a shame. Why did Messenger have to that feature out?
If this is honestly, if this wire is fucking frayed, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off.
Yes, it is.
Ah, fuck this. That was such an interesting bit of fucking social commentary, and it's not even fucking there. I just invented it for the fucking film. Fuck this. I hate it. Eat fucking shit.
Watch this video. It has other social commentary.
What a fucking crap ass bit. I thought that was gonna be like the crowning fucking jewel of the social commentary. It doesn't fucking exist.
But it wouldn't make any sense if they left voice unframed. It would be like logically, it would not make sense.
Logically, you don't fucking make sense with your fucking unwet fucking water.
Oh, that film.
Yeah, that fucking awful film that went, photographs are really important, don't get them wet. Oh, we got it wet, but it didn't matter. Shit. Absolute shit.
Okay. So, Alec, watch the video I sent. It might help you feel a little bit better.
Is it about photos getting wet? Because I honestly can't contain myself.
No, it's about some of the social commentary.
Oh, that's good too, I guess. Oh, and there's your pickled sour moustaches.
They taste nice.
I can just hear Camilla just giggling at me. That's great. I'm all funny.
Yeah, was there anything I was gonna say? Oh yeah, the big film of his we haven't watched, and I'm not gonna pick. And I don't know if anyone would actually want to watch it or like it that much. It's Okja.
Oh, I've seen Okja.
I know for a fact that
What
Rob
did
was
you-
going to pick it.
Oh really?
Mm.
What did you think of it, Ben?
I
I know
thought
my sister loved it.
Oh, I
it was
see.
a-
You don't want to know what I thought, but you just want to see
Alec
it.
hasn't
Ben,
seen
like-
it, so there we go. But yeah,
Again,
Okja was-
undermining me. I was going to keep him going for that. Fuck you.
Yeah, Okja's a really interesting film. I feel it has a lot of great elements. I think the weakness of it is that it, compared to Parasite, it's not a film that knows what kind of film it wants to be. Like, it's some of the comedic side of it is very, very on the nose, tongue in cheek. And at times it goes a really serious kind of like really dark and very like realistic thriller kind of vibe. So it's kind of like two things. And it's also kind of like, is this a film for kids? Some things are like are really like child friendly, and then there's a really dark, like brutal cruelty sequence that's like completely off the wall, and it's like, this is not for kids. So it's constantly going up and down. Like, this is a kids movie with a lot of fun moments in it, and it's like completely, this is dark and horrible, and it's like verges on like really like horrible things, and it because it deals with a lot of animal cruelty and how you know the meat industry is, and it comments on that, and the veganism versus cannibalism, not cannibalism, but what am I talking about? Well, basically, there's a lot of like dark and deep ideas that, as well as like kind of like cute stuff. So it's a film with two halves in that way.
It's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Shit. Devil's Backbone isn't playing anywhere.
Really?
Really?
Oh yeah, I need to check if my films is streaming anywhere.
Yeah, don't make my mistakes.
Actually, it should be on YouTube at least. But anyway, what film did you just pick?
I feel like you don't listen to me at all.
The Devil's Backside.
I literally just said it as well. I just went, Devil's Backbone isn't playing anywhere.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, you have better hearing than me.
That's preposterous. I have shit hearing.
I was talking to Camilla.
Oh.
Like, I heard. I was like, well. Great for you.
That was good.
Right. The Devil's. Why didn't you check this before?
Don't
You
stop.
Humphrey did.
Don't
Learn
stop.
mistakes.
Don't.
Pat's the only one who got this right. He was like,
ironic.
This is
Exists.
nowhere. Let me actually just send people DVDs.
Yeah, and then you still fucking hated it because of shoes.
I didn't hate it. I just had problems with it. There was some lazy script writing in it. Like, it had the opposite problem of what you call it, this film, Parasite. It wasn't well constructed. It was just thrown together. And it was just like, oh, I need him to fall. Wait, he falls because he doesn't wear the right shoes. No. You could literally just have him trip over a rock. Like, that's not actually that unbelievable if he's full sprinting for someone.
Parasite wasn't well put together.
No, Insomnia wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yes. They literally just could have had him full sprinting on a surface he's not used to with good shoes and still trip and still twist his ankle. Like, that's very realistic. But for some reason, someone's just like, let's just throw that in there. And then that's why he slipped and blah, blah, blah. It's no. There were just multiple problems in the film.
But more so or less so than Blowout?
The thing is, Blowout had different problems. If the characters are actually like they made sense in terms of what they were doing, how they were acting, and the little things. It was more that the film was trying to be so many different things and was just failing. Like, why are you trying to be all these different genres, but not succeeding at almost any of them? And I'm just like, sorry. Like, it tried. The effort was commendable. It just didn't succeed. It needed to stick in like 2 lanes and stop trying to do 4 lanes. The one with what? John Travolta. Yeah, oh, you heard that?
Oh fuck! Not that one.